what are we providing the younger generation, especially in this area, the opportunity, right? I drive around and I see the 13th bank going up.
It's insane,
this town,
bro.
right? And that's not a knock in the town, but I also see Amazon, which could bring some sort of fulfillment to this area. I mean, you have a multi-billion-dollar company has the opportunity to come into this town, East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, bring technology and logisticians back into this area, and give these kids an opportunity to come in, not exit, come in, stay, flourish. But why are our leaders pushing for that not to happen? Hey everyone, don't forget to subscribe, like, share.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that their stories are as varied as the stories of dudes that are at Harvard, Yale, Notre Dame. Like, they come from every city, every town, every walk of life. They just do what 99% of us wouldn't do, didn't have the courage to do, or for whatever reason chose not to do. They raised their right hand and they said, I will. And that's why we believe they're the most important asset that we have in this country. We have to tell a different story about the American veteran, man. We have to tell a different story. And there's a ton of cats out there right now doing a great job of it, but we are committed to telling a different story.
This is powerful.
Oh, it's the sad truth is it's probably not going to generate UHP, and the work we're doing in real time isn't going to generate 2 million views on Instagram. But you know, because you've been in that uniform and you've served with these men and women, it's beyond powerful, man.
Man, I'll tell you.
And not because of anything we're doing, but when you get a collective together, right? Everybody wants to belong to something, believe in something, and strive for something. And where did a lot of our military people feel that the most? Well, they felt it the most in uniform. Whether downrange or not, I don't care what your job was, whether you were a chef or a gunfighter, doesn't matter. Where you felt it the most was in uniform.
Yeah.
So we give these guys and gals a chance to craft their life so they can feel that alive again. But we're also honest with them to say, dude, you're never, ever going to be as fired up as you were in a gunfight. Because you can't do that shit out here. Right?
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah.
You never know in Springfield.
I know. But you know what I mean? So, but they're, those guys, a lot of those guys are still chasing that high. Like,
you can't get that out here.
Johnny, where am I going to feel that way again? I'm like, brother, you have to create different feelings. But that's up to you. The same reason. You see this all the time. Why do, especially guys that are in the special operations community, that at least from my experience, I've never done it, never been there, but I work with a lot of them that are very open with me. Why do they keep deploying all the time?
It's that rush.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, because being in a gunfight with your brothers or dealing with the real emotional shit that you have to unpack back home, they'd much prefer to be with their brothers getting off a bird and getting into a gunfight.
It honestly feels like, so I was talking to a buddy the other day about this, and it feels weird when things aren't chaotic. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a sense of calm in the chaos.
Absolutely.
Well, the most recent example obviously was the pandemic era. Folks were freaking out, and I remember looking at my wife being like, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, we're going through some struggles, but this is dope.
Yeah. And by the way, we're going to be okay.
Yeah. And then when you get back to like the normalcy of like, the lever pulling, it's like, no, this is crazy. I can't.
Groundhog Day, bro.
Yeah. Feel out of place. Very much so. So that is amazing.
Has that been a struggle for you? Just like feeling out of place?
Feeling out of place, for sure. You can't, you just don't understand. It's like, the repetitive, changing the wire in the head, right? Changing the
data, yeah.
Changing the data and understanding like things, the repetitiveness of doing something over and over and over again tired, no sleep, no food, cold, wet, fatigued, hurting, can't move, gotta move. All that stuff, still being able to just do exactly what the machine is able to do without even thinking about it. And then being taken away from that environment and then trying to fit in with everyday people and feel normal. It's the most difficult thing. So going back to the transition from San Diego into Nevada, I mean, it was, although we weren't doing anything crazy, San Diego, Miramar, not a big deal or anything like that. I mean, but we still had our regiment. We still had our guys that we trained with. I mean,
in
it
your
was
community.
Yes, right? And then when you remove yourself from that environment, in an environment where it's like there's no structure, it's all over the map. It's wild, and then people just expect you to, like, nope, this is how it's done. You do this, you do this, you do this, and you're like, I'm not fitting in.
Here's the biggest problem with society, and why one of the biggest problems with society is as it relates to being able to employ, not just employ, but empower dudes like you and other transitioning veterans. Society, we have gotten to this place where it is exactly what you said. It's can't do it this way, can't do it that way, can't do it this way, can't do it that way. But dudes and gals like you are the most adaptable human beings on the planet, because you've had to adapt for your entire military career. We're stepping off Monday. Nah, change of plans. We're stepping off Wednesday. Maybe, right? 6 trucks just shitted the bed, but we need them and over and over and over, right? And so what do we learn? We learn to adapt. We learn to pivot. We learn to keep morale high. We learn to take care of our people. We learn to be accountable. We learn to stay fit and ready. All of the things that make you guys the very best at what you do feel like there's no place for that. But if you guys were to step into companies, floundering companies, or companies that lack culture, companies that are only driven by, like, the machine, Groundhog Day, you guys would completely change the entire dynamic of those companies. These companies now go out and they pay coaches thousands and thousands of dollars every month to come in and change the culture of their company. Well, if you don't embed people that live the culture you're looking for, you can pay all the money that you want, but people are going to revert back to what is safe and comfortable. It isn't until you embed people that know what it means to live in a certain culture, to thrive in a certain culture, to create standards for excellence, to create standards for real brotherhood and sisterhood. You have to embed those people into those environments. That's when the culture changes.
Yes,
right?
100%.
And so we live in a world now where, shit, man, I'll be honest, I have companies that pay me to do culture and leadership development work for their companies. And I ask them all the time before we even start, I need to know about everybody that works for you. Where do they come from?
Yes.
What are they good at? Where do they struggle? What do they bring to the company's attitude and environment and culture outside of their work? Do you have any veterans on your staff? Because I can find you some good ones. But the answers are in front of us, man. But we live in a world now where everybody wants to be the big shot. Everybody wants to have the right answer.
Yeah.
We complicate the simplest of shit. We spend 8 hours doing work that could be done in 1, and then we brag about how busy we've been.
Yes.
We want to show up to the company event in the nicest car. We want to have the nicest house, but so many of us have completely lost touch with what it means to be a man or be a woman.
And the human touch.
Bro, connection is everything.
It is so very much so. And so I got asked the question recently, what would you do in this leadership style? As far as you have a diverse team, some are in-house, some are external, X, Y, and Z.
Very common.
It's the answer's simple. It's get to know the person. What drives that person's life? What makes that person tick? Once you understand that it's their family, 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm up feeding my kids, bringing them to school. Okay. What do you do in between then and then picking up your kids? Well, in between then, I'm focused on my work because that's what's important to me next. Okay, great. And then how about after that? Well, then I'm focused on picking up my kids and making sure they get to practice, study, so on and so forth. Okay, great. So that means I have you collectively, your attention for about 5 hours in the middle of that day. Let's maximize that time together. What can you get done?
Sounds a lot like leadership to me.
Yeah. It's that simple.
What is a core principle? I mean, you know this from the Marine Corps, but a core principle in leadership, period. Get to know your people.
It's simple. It's literally that simple.
I have colleagues right now, I would run through a wall for them. Like, I wouldn't question if they asked me to do something. Why? Because I know they love me and I trust them. Why? We complicate stuff that doesn't need to be that complicated. Nobody cares. And I don't know who said this, but it's an old quote. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Right? So let's get to know our people. But we don't. It's all about the bottom line. Oh, they're expendable. And then you call someone like me or someone like you and say, hey, I can't keep anybody in my company. My culture is awful. Well, how much time do you spend on building the culture? Especially with this new generation. This idea that dudes and gals are going to come in and with their ears pinned back, being ready to rock and roll. Bro, it's not going to happen.
See you later.
So unless we embed people in these businesses that can mentor these young cats and show them what it means to show up as a professional in whatever field you're in. Like, I take my work very, very seriously. I don't take myself seriously at all. But the this generation, when they step into the workplace, bro, they ask for a raise before they even get the job. Nothing is earned anymore. We glorify this idea of, I deserve everything because I'm a good kid. What happened to earning it? Like,
you know, I almost feel like there's two sides to this coin, right? So without diving down that rabbit hole, because it can get deep.
Oh yeah, all of it can.
Right? And it's like, I do understand where some of the younger generation is coming from, because they're like, wait a minute, you're telling me I got to pull up to this job 40 hours a week and I got to get someone that's telling me what to do every single day. This person don't care anything about me. They don't know anything about me. All they care about is the bottom line, right? And you expect me to give you 1,000% every single day.
I know.
And by the way, you're getting a raise and I'm not. Where's the incentive to push forward? And on top of that, right? On top of that, I could work 40 hours a week, whatever, right? I work a salary job, and I still can't afford the basic necessities to make my life fulfilling. What's driving me now to be better for you?
You're 100% right. In many ways, I don't blame this generation of kids. It's a problem that we have created. In many ways, it's a problem that we have created for all the reasons that you just said. Right? But I think in our homes individually, like, I know it's nobody else's job to raise my children. It's nobody else's job to teach my kids that life is unfair. It's nobody else's job to teach my kids, hey, you may walk around like a tough guy right now, but I'm going to tell you, in every room you walk into, there is a killer in that room. So you better be careful with how you talk and who you talk to like that. And by the way, you can go out and have the most unbelievable life ever if you're willing to show up and work hard.
Yeah.
I mean, today, showing up on time. Let's just start there. Right?
Let's show up on time.
Let's just start there.
Yeah.
We have buddies that own restaurants right now. They've created beautiful lives for themselves. They've worked their asses off. Beautiful homes, condos, just flat out work.
Every day.
They can't get kids to show up on time. So I tell Dana White, he said it best. He did an interview like 3 months ago. He's like, man, I tell my kids so simple. If you have just a little bit of savage in you, in this generation, if you have just a little bit of savage in you, there's nothing you can't do.
Yeah.
Nothing. And he's right.
Yep.
He's right. Like, and so we have a responsibility as men in our communities I do think we have a responsibility to put our arm around these kids and go, bro, better. You can do better.
Yeah.
Like, you can do better.
But what are we providing? What are we providing the younger generation, especially in this area, the opportunity, right? I drive around and I see the 13th bank going up.
It's insane,
in this town,
bro.
right? And that's not a knock in the town, but I also see Amazon, which could bring some sort of fulfillment to this area. I mean, you have a multi-billion-dollar company has the opportunity to come into this town, East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, bring technology and logisticians back into this area, and give these kids an opportunity to come in, not exit, come in, stay, flourish. But why are our leaders pushing for that not to happen? Why are they pushing this out? I think that
it's probably a question you could answer way better than me.
Well, I can't. I really can't. I see the data. I mean, I'm looking at the data. We're pushing our youth out on top of the crisis that they're facing every single day, which is they're having a hard time finding their identity in this world. You know what I'm saying?
In this area, to your point, like, take a kid that comes through the same school we did, the same school I worked at, that your family went through. Like, yes, it's a great town. But to your point about the town itself, like, what are you coming back to unless you're a teacher, unless you're a nurse, unless you're a cop, firefighter? What are you coming back to, right? Like, in the financial industry, you've got Hartford, Boston, New York, Providence, all within 2 hours, right? And the world is getting so small with technology now. Kids can get. Man, I work with private clients right now. I just had a call before I came to see you. He's a investor, right? Trader. Probably does it out of Puerto Rico. And there's reasons for that. I know you're aware of, but the tax incentives and breaks. He was born and raised in the Northeast, man. 27-year-old kid, condo in Puerto Rico. So the world, like, our kids, man, in terms of, like, ability to grow economically and financially, so many more opportunities than you and I had. So many more. And they can do it from anywhere.
Yes.
They can do it from anywhere. We are literally, you and I are shooting the shit right now, but I feel like I'm at NBC Studios. And we're, right? Do you know what I'm saying? So, if we don't do things intentionally to keep our best and brightest here, what incentive do they have to stay outside of the reasons that cats like you and I stick around or come back, because family is so important to us?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, for nearly 20 years of your life, or close to 20 years, you were all over the country and around the world, because that's what we're provided the best opportunity for you.
That's for sure. And you're right. You know, I come back, and one of our deep goals is to our vision boards, right? Is to develop a sports facility to a degree, kind of like what you're talking about that's going on down south. And it's like, holy smokes, like, imagine having a place for kids growing up in this area. They could hit it hard, be challenged hard at the gym in a sport, soccer, football, lacrosse, hockey. I mean, you name it, basketball, baseball, whatever it is. Where are we doing that? We have ad hocs here and there. Where are we dedicated in building our youth in the sports areas realistically? Yeah.
So much of the game has changed, though, too. You know that, like, travel teams and select teams and all of that stuff has gotten so popular. So, like, you're in your mid-30s. I'm in my mid to late 40s. The opportunities we had athletically, they were in our town, period. And that's why there was so much great competition between the towns in youth sports all the way through. But now, in almost every sport, except for football, you know, because you can't play football every day.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? And in this area, there's been a group of men, and I'm partial to it. My brother's one of the guys who started this, but they've built this amazing community of coaches and athletes for the last 6 or 7 years around football that have exposed these kids to scholarship opportunities, to playing at the next level like you've never seen in your life. But there is no, they rent facilities to do that, and then they train in the summer. There is no hub in East Longmeadow or in Western Mass to yeah, I know what you mean.
Imagine Amazon comes in as an example. I don't know. I don't talk to Amazon. They come in, hey, you want to come in here, right?
You got to build this.
You got to build this. Here's your incentive. Here's your, build it into the tax incentive. You got to build this sports arena. This is how you provide for the youth. At the same time, you're providing the next generation an opportunity to stick around and build this area even better, right?
Yeah.
And you're building our youth from a sports aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that thinking.
Yeah, it would be. Listen, you know as well as I do, it would certainly be enticing for a community. The only pushback I would have, brother, is the opportunities that I can only speak for my own kids, right? My kids all the way through have had opportunities, right? They've had them. Are they the best opportunities? No, but it goes back to what we talked about, like as individuals. Man, how many dudes that came from nothing and maximized
everything?
So, we were talking about some guys off air that we know from town that have gone on to do just amazing things. And so, yes, would it be amazing? And would it also keep good people and our people here? I'm sure it would. But at the end of the day, I think it's a bigger systemic issue, which is kids are not as active as they used to be. Adults are not as active as they used to be. It's a whole nother discussion, but if you look at the rates of obesity and heart disease and diabetes, they're not declining, they're rising. And they're going to get even worse when this generation of kids become adults and their metabolism slows way down and they still do the same amount of nothing that they're doing right now. So I think it's more than just if you build it, they will come. I think we have to change the culture around what it means to be a man and what it means to earn things and what it means to step up and work hard. Like, I would never tell my kids they don't have every opportunity in the world to be as successful as they want to be. And so to me, would a brand new school be great? Would a facility like that be great? It sure would. But at the end of the day, if we stand by the message that we're sending our kids, then I have to believe that if they believe in themselves enough, they will make it work, not despite or lacking the resources, but because they can do it.
And it goes back to the whole premise of where we're at, which is roots, and that which defines us. We didn't have much. I mean,
bro, how was our town built?
From really nothing.
From quarries, from nothing, right? How was the United States of America built? With no technology, man.
With hands.
The hands and hearts and heads of driven human beings. So we talked about this at the beginning, like blessing and a curse. You and I, we like nice shit, like sitting in a beautiful place, but you've earned it. My fear is for the generation that comes is like they think that this is just what you get. You know what I mean? It just comes as part of the journey.
I can't tell you.
It just comes as part of the journey.
Oh God.
And by the way, when I don't get it, I'm going to be pissed off at you because you have and I don't. You know what I mean?
And I like going back to what you're doing down south.
Yeah,
in Arkansas,
man. What a great state, by the way.
It's beautiful.
So
it
you
really
know,
is.
You've been there?
Yeah.
Bro, I tell people all the time, I would have never, I've been all over the country. I would have never imagined one of my favorite places in the United States of America would be Northwest Arkansas.
It's freaking awesome.
Breathtaking. It's amazing people.
Untouched lands.
Amazing people. Friendly. Great food. Great music scene. Oh, man, phenomenal. Gorgeous. Foothills of the Ozark Mountains.
Yes.
Great mountain biking. Great fishing. Great hiking. Swimming. It's awesome.
It's beautiful out there.
It is beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I got to get you down there for a couple days.
I'm telling you, I'm dead serious. I want to check this out.
Oh, it's amazing.
And I got some Marine buddies that would be serious about this too.
We would welcome them, man.
Yeah.
We would welcome them. It's especially great for dudes and gals that have an affinity for fitness and wellness. and they'll spend 3 weeks with us, and they'll have a chance to leave and go out super empowered, but also with accredited, tangible skills to walk into a gym or to a CrossFit box or a training facility and say, you know, I was trained as a veteran through the University of Health and Performance. I know how to coach. We create coaches.
Now, do you take non-veterans in the courses?
As of right now, there's no course that we offer in the CPT or the integrative health coaching. Yeah. You have to be a DD-214.
Okay.
We do some what we call executive experiences. Pretty cool. Just last month, I got a chance to work for 4 days with the top 25 prospects in the Toronto Blue Jays organization. Wow. So their top 25 prospects came down with their coaches, their strength coaches, their performance coaches. It was awesome. We've had global architecture firms. We've had GNC. We've had C4. We have a great partnership with GNC and C4. Jocko came down to speak for Veterans Day. Yeah. Governor Huckabee Sanders was our speaker for Veterans Day. Wow. She's, you know, our governor of Arkansas, amazing lady, politics aside. So we do executive experiences. We'll bring corporate teams, anywhere from 10 to 50. They'll spend a few. Team Red, White, and Blue, their whole staff came down to train with us. It's a special place, man, and it's growing exponentially.
Making me want to move.
That's the one thing. It's funny because if I'll send a copy of this to my boss, our founder and CEO, and for years he's been like, because he knows how much I love Northwest Arkansas, and I'd have gone there in a heartbeat. But we talk about roots, right? Not just my roots anymore, because I'm a grown man. Like, this will always be my home, no matter where I go. East Longmeadow in Western Mass and Springfield, it will always be my home. But my kids are establishing their roots right now. And my kids love where they live. And they have amazing friends. They have great coaches. They're in a great school with teachers who love them and care about them. And so for me right now, that move would be super selfish. And I just won't make it.
And I mean, no, it's just, I mean, the opportunity, it sounds like it's flourishing down there. But why can't we bring that up here at some capacity?
Yeah, I think you're going to see, you know, I can only speak for our university and our leader's vision, Matt's vision, is that, you know, he envisions, let's just talk about your community for now, the active duty service members and veterans. His vision is that Northwest Arkansas will be the hub for all things health and wellness for the military. And then what he envisions is, you know, that's the nucleus, but then the web extends across the country. And there are, by the way, like, you probably know this, but there are so many badass veteran nonprofits out there. I mean, there are some that are terrible, but there are some really good ones out there. And a lot of them, I wouldn't say they have a similar model, but at the end of the day, the ones that do really well, it's all around strengthening community, man. And it's all around reforming those bonds and relationships and having you guys and your brothers and sisters start to step into a different story. Like, we're not broken. Yes, PTSD is a very real thing, but you don't have to be defined by PTSD, right? Like, there's a lot of resources out there for men and women, and our hope is that we just play a really important part in helping dudes and gals that have given everything for this country be able to live this season of their life and the seasons that follow with purpose, but with peace, you know?
So that kind of brings us into where we're going into the future, at least with Matt, his vision. Yeah. It sounds like he's sticking to the veteran community for the time being, which is awesome. I would almost see, like, there are just folks in general who may not have had the opportunity to sign the dotted lines, right? Or stay on the yellow footprints, whatever branch of service that you may have gone to or thought of going to. Imagine giving something like this a unified front. Hey, you got campuses now all over the country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this dude is a visionary, and he's one of the most disruptive leaders I've, like, in the best way that I've ever been around. That is his vision. One of the things I think you'll see us segue to is, and, you know, coming from this area, especially blue collar families like ours that we grew up pretty blue collar. We weren't starving, but we didn't
Yeah, exactly.
have lavish things. Well, a lot of our dudes became cops and firefighters, right? And what a lot of people don't realize, what the general public doesn't realize, is their struggles with mental health, their struggles with PTSD, because a career of 20, 25 years in a prison, in a police car, in a firehouse, man, that's a lot to see and to take on, and to not. They're doing better now in police departments and fire departments from a mental health perspective across the country, and in jails. I've had a chance to go into some jails and do some consulting and some work, but still so far behind in many ways. And so I think in terms of creating a safe space for these guys and gals to be in a trusted space with brothers and sisters where they can say, man, there's just some stuff I want to leave here. I want to throw in the fire and I want to leave it here. I think that'll be the next possible evolution for full courses for us, will be for the first responder community. We're also talking about doing some stuff with spouses, because what is also lost on the general public is, you served in the Marine Corps for X amount of years. Well, your spouse served right alongside you, right? And a huge job for you, I would imagine, leading Marines, wasn't just making sure that they were okay, but I would imagine a huge part of your day was troubleshooting and trying to help them navigate family situations.
All the time.
And what's lost on a lot of people is that, like, whether you're a man or a woman, if you're a female veteran or a female Marine, well, your husband served right alongside you. And in your case, as an enlisted Marine and then a Marine officer, your spouse served right alongside you. And so we want them to have a place where they can come together. They'll never have the shared experience, because we can't understand unless we've been there, right? But what we can learn to do is we can learn to empathize more. We can learn to ask more curious questions. We can learn to hold space more appropriately. We can learn that we don't have to fix it. Like, we can learn that we don't have to swoop in when you're having a bad day and fix it. We can just be there for you and know that you're going to be okay. So we're working on doing stuff with spouses, and it's an exciting place, man. It's a beautiful place. I'd love to get you connected with some of the folks on our team to talk to, but more importantly, I think some of our graduates that have come through, because they'll tell the story way better than I will.
Man, this sounds powerful.
It's a special place, man. We've had some amazing people down there. People in you know how it works politically, but people in the right places are starting to hear about us. Yeah, I'm just, it's an honor to serve on the team, and man, I have a cool job, man. I get to do fun shit every day. So, and I learn from these guys and gals so much. I tell them all the time, I steal from them like crazy. You think I'm helping you, I'm just stealing all this shit. I'm just gonna use it with somebody else.
Johnny, man, this has been great. I'm not, this has been a good conversation.
Yeah, man, it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's fun catching up with you too, dude. If you circle all the way back to the premise of Roots, this is it. You know what I mean? Like, I was just a young teacher, young counselor, and you were a wild animal. And
you were chasing me around them halls.
Yeah. 20 years later, we're sitting here as grown men just talking about life and the stuff that matters most. I mean, if that's not what it means to stay connected with your roots, I don't know what does, man. This is fun. I'd come back and join you anytime, bro.
I think we should have a coffee or tea, sit right here, have another conversation.
Anytime. Be so down to come back.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
Hell yeah, brother.
That was fun.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, don't forget to subscribe, like, share.